This song riff's by Coldplay and it's called Adventure of a Lifetime. Very cool sounding riff, happens quite a few times throughout the song. Let's have a look at how it's done. Now the song's in the key of A minor, A natural minor. So I'll write the scale up. So starting on the tonic on the A, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G and A. So remember the scale always goes tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. There's a semitone between the second and third and always the 5 and the 6. So the whole song is really built around a D minor chord, a G major chord and an A minor, basically. Right, in a minor key, always your 1, 4, 5 give you minor chords, so A minor, D minor, E minor. The 3, the 6 and the 7 are major chords and the 2 chords the unusual one, it's the diminished chord. So it's just built around those chords, and the song really goes the 4 chord, so it starts there on the 4 chord, goes up here to the 7 chord of the key and then returns back to the 1. So it sounds like it's just 4, 7, 1, 1 over and over. Now the riff that's played over top of it matches in really nicely with those arpeggios. So let's talk about the timing and then I'll show you how to play it. So it's in 4/4. Now it's got an anacrusis of 2 semiquavers before the first bar line here. Now that would be an and-a. With semiquavers we normally count it 1 E and-a, 2 E and-a. So we're doing the last 2 and then that connects straight on to the first beat, which is all semiquavers. The second beat is all semiquavers. Now remember, notes normally have heads on them like this, so it doesn't really matter if I draw them or not. So that does and-a, 1 E and-a, 2 E and-a, 3. Now when you get to the third beat, this is where we pause for a moment before the last note here. Now, I'll draw it the way it would look. This is a dotted quaver, which is worth 3 quarters, and then that's going to be on the the last quarter, because we're counting 3 E and-a. Well, like we're missing the E and the and in the middle there. So that's 1 E and-a, 2 E and-a, 3 A. Now on the fourth beat, it would look like this. Now this is tied through here, so you're not actually going to play that. Normally you'd count that 4 and-a. But we're just going to play the and-a, which is really like the anacrusis that we had over here. And then that rhythm just keeps repeating, so I'd put a double line either side there. So rhythmically, it's going to sound like you're going and-a, 1 E and-a, 2 E and-a, 3 A. And-a, 1 E and-a, 2 E and-a, 3 A. Now, before I show you to play, I'll just mention this while we're talking rhythms. Normally, I like to pick semiquavers. I always pick down, up, down, up. So the beat is the down, then it goes up, down, up. And I stick with that pretty well for most of what I play. So occasionally, because of the way you jump across strings, you might change that, but usually. Now, that would mean this one, because it's on the the last quarter, should be an up pick. And then we'd want to get a down, up, so that we end up coming back down there. So just with picking, I'd suggest that. Remember, picking's entirely up to you, but I'd suggest giving that a go. It might make it easier to play. Now you'll notice on the guitar here, I've got a capo on the 12th fret. That's what he does when he actually plays it. I'll show it to you without the capo, and then we'll put it on so we can get it to sound exactly like the song. Now my hand is going to be in the second position here, meaning my first finger's on the 2nd fret. Now I do that so that I'm covering all the necessary frets to play this. So the first note is here is the 5th fret, and I'm going to pick that with a down, then I'm picking up on the open, then the 5th fret, and then the up again. So it's, and that's those first 4 semiquavers. That's those 2 and these first 2. So you get that and-a, 1 E. Now the next note I'm going to jump to is on the 2nd string, and I'm going to play the 3rd fret, the 5th fret, then the 3rd. So I get this. Now I've gone down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now the next note, which might feel a bit unusual, but I'm going to pick that up so that I follow my standard picking. That's the 5th fret on the 3rd string. Then I do the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and then the open on that 3rd string. So it'll sound like this, really slow. It'd be. Now the last note in the phrase will be back to the 2nd fret again, which would be this note here on that semiquaver. So as you can see, because it's on the beat, I'm going down. So it sounds like and-a, 1 E and-a, 2 E and-a, 3. Now this last note here is the open, and I'm going to pick up on that, because that's that one there, and then I repeat. So slowly this would be the riff. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now, there's a slight change on the third time through it. Instead of starting on the 5th fret there, he starts on the 3rd fret. So you change that. Everything else stays exactly the same. And then the last time he changes those last 2 notes. When you do the rundown, you got to, and then you got to jump to the 7th fret. So after you've done that 5, 2, 0, straight to the 7 here on the 1st string, and then the 8. So these 2 notes in here, that would be the 7. Oh, sorry, that one would be the 7, and then that would be the 8th fret. So just changing that last bit. So I'll do the whole riff real slow. And again. 3rd fret. And then repeat. It is about 116 beats a minute, so it's pretty quick. So to get the picking, you're really going to have to work at it. But make sure you do your downs and ups, and you shouldn't have any problem with that. All right, now I'll show it to you with the capo. So from the live videos and stuff I've watched, you can see he's up on the 12th fret there. So he's basically playing exactly what I just did, but up here. Now, it does make it easier in some ways because the frets are nice and closer. So up here is quite close. Hopefully your guitar, you can reach up here. You're going to need up to the 20th fret to get those last 2 notes. So 19 would be 12 plus the 7 for the capo, and then go to 20 there. Most guitars you'll have 20 frets, and you'll find you'll get in there with the cutaway. All right. So this would be the riff at full speed. So I'll play it at roughly 115, 120, whatever it is. So it goes. So just to recap, it's a 4-7-1 progression. So it really sounds like it's done again. The D minor, and then it goes to the 7, and then back to the 1 progression. All right, and then just keeps repeating that. And while the D minor chord, you're hearing that first progression. So D minor, you're hearing that. And then it goes to the G chord. You hear that same. Then the A minor, and then you hear that. Same sort of progression. So have fun with that riff. That's Adventure of a Lifetime by Coldplay.